everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday, Black Friday here in the States. How is everybody? Welcome to the call. So glad you are here. Share your wins in the chat. You are here. That's a win right away. Ringing my bell for you. Woohoo! You're here. You're showing up for yourself. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We always start my calls with wins. What is going right? That is how we rewire what we want for ourselves. So please share in the chat. You're here, you're showing up. That's a win right away. What we celebrate, we integrate. So please share those wins in the chat and I will read them out. You are welcome, Irina. My pleasure. Please, everyone, drop in the chat. What is going right for you in terms of recovery, in terms of healing from binge eating? You are here. Lisa, you bought the Lifetime Brain Over Binge course. Amazing. Way to go. Dedication. Julia, 3 days without binging. Woohoo! Amazing. Look at you turning it around. We are always one choice away from feeling better. Andrea, you are here. That's wonderful. Who else? What else? Keep them coming. Amazing. Less sneaking of food. Who wrote that? Tracy. Fantastic. Um, Karen, yesterday you focused on personal connections instead of food. I love that. I wasn't faking it. I put a higher value on the people and I felt it. Isn't that beautiful? You were life focused instead of food focused. That is the way, Karen. Fantastic. Julie, you're here. Focus on that. You are here. That's amazing. And again, I call these learning moments, right? We're one step away from a new choice and you came here. That's amazing. Fantastic. Oh, and I'm sure you do. You're here. That is a win right there. Irina, one win is that you're eating healthier than before. Amazing. And you know you have clarity that the amounts you want to work on, fantastic. Perfect. All right, everyone. So after wins, we talk about, I always do a mindful minute. We're going to do that now. Merlin said here instead of caving into an urgent binging. Amazing. Fantastic, Merlin. Wonderful. Or Mary Lynn, excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. All right, everyone. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, we are going to take a minute and just breathe. It's really important to take that moment to connect with ourselves. So if it's available to you, close your eyes. I love putting my hands over my heart center. That releases oxytocin into your system. It's very calming. It'll bring you into the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest mode. So close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose and exhaling twice as long. And again, nice deep breath in through your nose and exhaling twice as long. Coming into this moment and this breath right now. So letting go of anything that happened before you got to the call and not worrying about what's coming next, just breathing. Really focusing on the breath. Remembering every breath is a chance to begin again. We are new in each moment. And then gently, slowly opening your eyes, coming back to the call. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for doing that with me. So please share in the chat. Think about how you were feeling before we did that moment of breathing and how you're feeling now. And can you see a difference in your energy, in your mood? Anything shift for you? Just from that 1 minute of breathing, can you see a difference? It's very important to notice when we do a practice like that. Do you see a difference in your energy? I know for me, I was rushing around and that really helped settle my nervous system. Irina said, of course, more peacefulness inside. Beautiful, Irina. I'm so glad. Lisa, gosh, yes, I didn't want to come back here. Holly, I started crying. That's okay. Feeling is healing. Crying is very cathartic. Good for you. Julia, you're still anxious. Okay, well, maybe you need more than a minute of breathing, right? Or maybe you need to shake out your hands, jump up and down, discharge that nervous energy that you're feeling. Okay? It's good that you can see that. Karen, I felt my muscles relax underneath my skin. So good. That is so good. Yeah. And so just remember the breath, it's free. It's always there with us in our back pocket. And nobody needs to know that you're doing it, but just slowing your breathing down, really making it this intentional practice, even a minute of it can really shift your energy. And Anne, I'm sorry you didn't feel a difference. But again, I think you mentioned earlier that it sounds like there's stuff going on with you. So it could be that you're in that anxious state. And sometimes when we're in an anxious or activated state, a minute of breathing isn't going to be enough. So just like I was saying to Julia, when I'm feeling a lot of anxiety, I need to shake it out. I need to move, jump up and down. You know, sometimes you need to have some quick movement. That can be very helpful. Okay, because when we're feeling dysregulated, sometimes we can't access slow, deep breathing in that moment. And you could keep trying. So good awareness there, really good. All right, I'm going to share my screen with everyone. Right. So, welcome everybody. We just shared our wins and we did that mindful minute. And I just want to make this disclaimer that any advice and coaching I give today on this call is never, never a substitute for medical or nutritional advice. Okay. And with that out of the way, yesterday in the States was Thanksgiving, and this is the start of what we call the holiday season, right? So this runway from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Um, and so I want you all to imagine having a binge-free holiday season. Because really now is the moment that you can commit to freeing yourself from binge eating. It's the best time. It's the best time. There's no reason to wait. You don't need to wait until the end of the year. You don't need to wait until January 1st. Now is the time. So, how about we all commit together to finishing 2025 binge free? If you are with me on that, put a Y in the chat. Who's with me? Binge free for the rest of 2025. Anne said yes. Amazing. Andrea said yes. Merlin said yes. Jenny, yes. Holly said yes. Julia said yes. Tracy said yes. Lisa said yes. Uh, and so did Christine and Ruthie and Karen and V. Yes. Marina, Irina, V, borrow my belief in you. You can do it. William said yes. Amazing. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay, so I want you all right now, just close your eyes for a minute. Imagine it's January 1st, 2026. Ooh, Nancy, please don't write on my screen. um, Nancy, I don't know what you're doing. Um, okay, so I want you all to imagine that it's 2026, January 1st, and you are going to step into the binge-free version of you. I want you to visualize who you are in all the details. How do you think? How do you feel? How do you act? And then how can you be that person now? Hint, hint, that person is eating adequately. That person is nourishing themselves consistently and adequately, no matter what. That person isn't restricting or dieting or fixating on weight and size and shape. Instead, that person is eating loving, beautiful, adequate meals regularly and then expecting and allowing urges and letting them move through. Okay. And that person is probably also getting some coaching, getting support, like you came here today, right? So I want you all to consider that. Imagine spending the next month working with me regularly, getting live coaching starting this Sunday at 10, getting written coaching from me starting immediately. You could hang up, join the group, and get written coaching 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the private forum. Watching all of my lessons, guided meditations, Catherine's audio course, healing in community, right? And really enjoying all the benefits of the Brain Over Binge group. So if you're interested in that, it's brainoverbinge.com/group. I'm going to put that in the chat. I really encourage you to join us there. And now I will stop sharing my screen and we will go to any questions or things that you would like for coaching. So feel free to type your questions in the chat and I will answer them. I'm happy to help whoever would like some support right now. So just share what you need help with in the chat. You're all good? Nobody needs anything? Let's see. Okay. Holly said, how do you stop fixating on food and weight? I feel like I can't no matter what I do. Well, Holly, if you're finding that you're fixating on food and weight, my guess is that you're still restricting. When you restrict, your brain is going to encourage you to fixate on food and weight because you need nourishment. So, Holly, you really need to think, are you actually eating adequately and consistently and regularly throughout the day? That's the first piece of it. Also, remember that if you've been doing that, fixating on food and weight and body for decades, then this is going to be something new and it's not going to go away overnight. We can't just erase it, right? So you're going to expect that your brain is going to do it, right? No problem there. You're going to say, oh, there, that's that old pattern, but I would rather focus on my family, my life, plans for the future, a trip I'm going to take, a redecorating project, something I'm doing at work. You notice it, you notice that you're doing it, and you redirect your brain. And then you celebrate and you say, go me, I did it. Drop a bead in the jar, ring a bell, do a happy dance, right? So you know that this is your pattern. And the way to shift a pattern is to expect that you're going to want to do that pattern and then do something else, like any other habit that you've changed in your life. Let me know if that helps. V said, I feel awful. I relapsed today after 1 week. Nope, V, learning moments are part of the journey. You were 1 week binge free. That's amazing. That's where you need to direct your energy. Remember, our brain, anything you focus on is going to intensify and grow. You don't want to focus on the learning moment you had. What you want to focus on is the week free of binging. And remember, you're one choice away from going right back there, right back there. Okay, so a learning moment happened. No big deal. You ate some extra food. Your body will process it right back to adequate eating, expecting and allowing urges, and celebrating. Recovery is not about perfection. Recovery is about moving on quickly after a learning moment. You binge, you eat some extra food. Oops, that happened. You keep going forward quickly, without drama, without fixation, without beating yourself up. Okay, V, that is really important. 10 a.m., Lisa. If I said 10 p.m., excuse me, but the coaching calls are at 10 a.m. Eastern every week on Sundays, not 10 p.m. I am fast asleep. That is way past my bedtime. Ruthie, what form does the coaching take? The group coaching is like this. So we start with wins. We do a mindful minute. I usually teach a lesson and then we get to live coaching. And so on the hour-long calls, people raise their hand. If they can't talk, they'll type things in the chat. If they can talk, we go back and forth. Jojo, I had 2 weeks binge free. Amazing. And now 5 days more than 3 binges a day. How is that possible? Only black and white. Jojo, just like I said to V, you had 2 weeks. So clearly you're capable of doing this. Amazing. Right back to it. Right back to it. Your next meal will be an adequate, beautiful meal. And then you'll celebrate and you'll move on. You forget any learning moments. You just keep moving forward. Learning moments happen. That's not the issue. The issue is how you think about it after. That's it. It's never the food. It's the story we tell ourselves about the food. Whoops, that happened. My body will process it. And now I keep moving forward. Very important, Jojo. Andrea, could you talk about the mindset for pleasure eating during the holidays? What questions do I ask myself first? Amazing question. I love that. I always say, Andrea, that you need, or Andrea, excuse me, but I always say you need to sprinkle everything you eat with full permission and full pleasure. So, for example, If there's special foods that you're eating during the holidays, you put it on a plate and you say, this is going to be so delicious. And you eat it and you enjoy the heck out of it. And then you expect my friend Murray the dinosaur to come and say, oh my God, I can't believe you're eating that. That's going to make you so fat. Or Murray will say, that's so delicious. You need more, 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 more. And you say, Murray, it is delicious. And this is plenty for me. And go me, because I allow myself to have these things and I'll have more at another time. And then you celebrate and you say, woo, I did it. Drop a bead in the jar, write it in your journal, celebrate. That is how. Okay. And Andrea, in terms of questions to ask yourself first. So before you go to an event, you think about like, is there going to be special food at this event that I would like to try? Okay, great. Visualize yourself plating the food, having the food with full permission and full pleasure, wanting more or beating yourself up about it and not doing that. Right. And then going right back to your normal way of eating when you're not in those holiday pleasure moments. Let me know if that helps. Irina, why can't I lose the last 2 kilograms? Well, Irina, this is not a weight program, so I'm not even going to answer that question. I'm stuck there with overeating. I think you just answered your question. I never can stay consistent, but this isn't a diet program, Irina. And maybe actually it would be so much better for your life to forget about the kilograms and instead focus on consistent, adequate, loving food and celebrating the fact that you nourish yourself well. Because really, life is very short, and I hope that you don't want to spend the rest of your life fixating on 2 kilograms. Right? So maybe we need to expand what consistent means and recognize that perhaps you're not overeating. Perhaps you were trying to restrict before, and instead give yourself those adequate meals and trust that with consistency, your body stays where it's meant to be, where it's meant to be. Julia, I sometimes decide that I want to binge. Is that really me? No, it is not. How can I avoid giving in those moments? Okay, so Julia, nobody ever wants to binge, right? Your lower brain, Murray may tell you that, right? But the truth is, you have never binged and said, I'm so glad I binged. That was great. And you've never woken up after not binging and thought, gosh, I wish I binged yesterday. Never. Nobody has. Okay. So the lower brain only remembers seek pleasure, avoid pain, use as little energy as possible. And so when we have a habit, that's all that it is, of binging, our lower brain is going to fight to keep that alive. And the way around that is to expect your lower brain to say those things and remind it, I never, ever am pleased with myself after I've binged. Binging always and only makes everything worse. Everything I don't want is on the other side of a binge, and everything I do want is on the other side of the urge. Destructive discomfort after a binge, the brain fog, the depression, the anxiety, the despair, the beating yourself up, plus reinforcing that neural pathway versus allowing an urge, which gets easier over time. And everything you want is waiting for you. Your pride, your integrity, your mood, your energy, your digestion, everything improves. Okay, so just remember that. And I don't know if you listened to the podcast I just recently did with Catherine, but one of the things that I say is if you have to justify a choice, it's probably not what you really want for yourself. It's probably not in integrity with what you truly want for yourself. And generally speaking, when we binge, there's a lot of justification going on. There are a lot of permission giving thoughts that you're having. Oh, I'll just start tomorrow. Oh, one last time. Oh, my life is too hard. Oh, I really need this. Whatever it is, none of it is real. None of it. So just think about that, Julia. JCC, can you give more tips on how to take weight out of the equation? Yes, you focus on the fact that when you don't binge, everything in your life improves. The things that really matter, your mood, your energy, your sleep, your finances, your relationships, your presence, your integrity, your productivity, everything is better when you don't binge. And none of that has anything to do with your size or your shape or your weight. That's the truth. Okay. And so the other thing is you're going to wake up every day and your brain is going to go to wait because we live in the Western world and it's kind of tattooed on our brain. So it's not about erasing that, but it's noticing, oh, my brain's going there. So I'm going to add the word and I am healing now. And I am focusing on all the non-weight benefits. And I didn't binge yesterday and I'm so proud of myself. I went to bed with my head held high. Okay, JCC, let me know. Marina, what if you know you shouldn't binge, but you do it anyway? Again, that's just because the brain fights to keep it alive. Afterward, I feel guilty and say to myself, I don't want this anymore. Okay, but again, what did I say before? Our brain is like a computer that we're programming. So if you eat some extra food and then you beat yourself up, all you're going to get is bruised. And you're reinforcing what you don't want for yourself. So instead, you say, okay, what went well? Maybe I went for a week because you said that you're doing it after a week. So I went for a week without binging. Go me. What didn't go well? I ate some extra food. What will I do differently? I'm going to expect urges to come. And it sounds like for you, they come about once a week. So at the end of that week, maybe you give yourself extra food on that day so that you're truly adequately nourished, right? Or you have some soothing rituals planned for yourself at the end of that week and then you celebrate, right? You want to go into it with your eyes wide open. Urges are going to arise. That's what brains do. We have healthy brains, and when we have habits, our brain is going to throw out those urges. Okay, that's not a problem. You want to have urges. Urges are good. Urges are the way we change our brain. It's acting on the urges that we want to stop doing. Okay, Marina, great question. Ruthie said same, so I hope that helped you. Merlin, do you support weight loss goals? I don't. I don't support weight loss goals. It's not a weight loss program. Okay. Again, if you truly have weight to lose, then when you stop binging, your body will land where it's supposed to be. But it is definitely not a weight loss program. Are you available between group calls via email or message? As I said, there is a written forum 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. People reach out to me for coaching. I respond very quickly. So yes, in between the live calls, there is written coaching nonstop. And it's a private forum. It's not on Facebook. So absolutely. Julie, how to handle other people dieting, doing Ozempic. That's their journey. That's their path, not your path. I'll soon be working closely with a coworker who was trying to get me to join her in intermittent fasting and keto last time we worked together. Again, that's her journey. She's finding her way. She's doing her thing, and you're doing your thing. Right. And so it's just a really important thing to remember that nobody else is on your journey and you're not on anybody else's journey. And our brains love to compare. That's something that all brains do. Right. We are always trying to see how we measure up because we used to live in caves. And if we didn't measure up, we'd get kicked out and killed. Right. But today it's okay. We don't need to do what everybody else is doing. We need to do what's right for us. Okay, Julie, great question. And bravo to you, right, for not following what that person is doing and instead doing what is meaningful to you. Lisa said, perfect. Julia said, don't I need to analyze why I binged to avoid it in the future? You binged because you rewarded an urge. It's that simple. No, you don't need to analyze. You need to say, okay, I followed an urge. I rewarded that pathway because I have a human brain and it's an automatic habit loop. And the way around it is to make sure I'm eating adequately and expecting and allowing urges. Lisa said, me too. Karen, how do I keep my focus on self approval instead of being worried about what other people think? Sometimes this shows up in my thinking. Well, Karen, again, as I just said a minute ago, we all do that. All brains compare. We worry about what other people think. But the truth is, we can't control anybody else. What other people think is none of our business, actually. And all that matters is that we're staying in our own lane. We might have urges to think about what they're thinking, and then we regroup and we say, wait a second, I can't control what they're thinking. And any judgments I think they might have about me are actually judgments I have about myself. And so I'm going to work on that piece because that is within my power. What I say and do and think about myself, that is within my control. Okay, Julia, I do regret it afterwards, but in the moment it feels good to eat. Yeah, maybe for 2 seconds, Julia. right? So that's the thing to remember is that you need to go one step beyond. It might taste good for a minute, right? And then right after, the panic, the indigestion, the oh my goodness, why did I do that? All the lost time, needing to fix it, all the psychic mess that's waiting for you on the other side. It never really feels good, right? It's a minute of pleasure and a world of pain. So it's, because you don't get one without the other. You can keep binging for the rest of your life. You're free to do that, but you also take all the consequences of that. They go together. Tracy, how to stop feeling guilty when eating to satiety. Well, you join the group and you learn about embracing adequate eating and celebrating it. Reclaim fullness, Tracy. It's good to be full. Your body is crying for nourishment. And a body that is fed consistently and adequately starts humming. It's so happy. It's finally not starving or binging. It's not on those extremes anymore. And so you start celebrating all the non-weight benefits. And you recognize that restriction is actually the same as binging. It's all part of your urge loop. And when you restrict, you binge. So you don't get one without the other. Okay. And none of that is going to support a healthy, loving lifestyle. Gail, my binging sometimes feels intentionally self destructive. How can I change this? You recognize that you really don't want to hurt yourself. Okay. You start noticing that you want to take the path of kindness and self love. That's the first piece of it because you deserve proper nourishment. You deserve to take care of yourself. Right. And so you come from love and you just recognize, I'm not going to do that anymore. Merlin said, thanks. Heidi, what are some healing words you have for figuring out how to manage the sensation of not being able to stop eating? The compulsion is so strong. The binge feels like it never stops. Okay. Well, again, Heidi, if you're truly eating adequately, you will be able to stop. Because when you start noticing, oh, I'm not restricting anymore. So I don't need to gorge either, right? That kind of out of control eating where you feel like you can't stop is usually in response to having restricted for so long. All that fear, your body is afraid. It's afraid, it's been traumatized by restriction, right? And so it's about truly eating adequately and recognizing that when you do that consistently, the fear subsides and your need to overcompensate in the other way starts to quiet. And that it's okay if in the beginning it's messy. You're figuring out what adequate is. And so it's going to be messy in the beginning. That's all right. Your body will process it. You will start to figure out more and more what the proper Heidi formula is, what amounts truly feel good and satiating. Merlin, how many people in the group? It varies in terms of showing up live. Sometimes there are about 25 people, sometimes more, sometimes less. Um, and Marina, how do you feel about counting calories to prevent binging? I'm not sure what you mean. If you mean to make sure that you're eating enough calories, like the 2,400 we recommend, that's fine in the beginning, but truly it's about making sure you eat until you're full, right? You eat until you're truly sated, not just enough, but actually sated. Okay, we're going to be out of time in a second, so I'll answer a few more. Irina, what about struggling feelings when I say, no, I won't binge, I am healing myself? Thank you so much. Well, expect those struggling feelings. Like I said, Murray the dinosaur is going to say, you need so much more, or you shouldn't be eating that. You need to restrict, or you need more. And just remember that that's all lower brain stuff. And so you sit, you plate your food, you say, this is plenty of food. This will be so delicious. That hit the spot. And you overtly name that you're finally taking charge and truly nourishing yourself the way you need, right? And allow for those conflicting emotions to come. It's okay. We're humans. We're meant to feel all the feels. That's okay. Julia, I'm scared I don't want recovery enough. That's okay. You can be scared. Fear is excitement without the breath, Julia. That's all that it is. And I promise you, you want recovery. And you can take a leap of faith and do it anyway. Because you know what? You can always go back to binging. It's always available to you. This is a free country. You can try it out. You can try recovery. You can always go back to the other way. It's there for you if you want it. But I believe, Julia, with all my heart, that you really wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have given up this time today if you didn't want to recover. And that's true for everybody listening. Karen, you are a blessing. Kelsey, is it possible to dismiss urges without eating adequately? No, it is not. That's a great question. If you are restricting, the need for food is going to override any ability to manage urges. You can't do one without the other. And I would say that eating adequately is top of the pile. Hearts back to all of you. All right. So that is the end of our time together today. But I just want to say, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I am so grateful to all of you for coming. Thank you so much for being here. Thank yourselves for showing up for yourselves. And, Julia asked the greatest question. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to recover. And as I said before, you can absolutely step into 2026 binge free by committing to eating adequately today. You can do that today. Okay. And I hope to see some of you in the Brain Over Binge group. Come join us. It's a beautiful place and you'll get so much support and you can get support right away starting today. So anyway, thanks for being here, everyone. Lots of love to you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye, everyone.